My husband, Lin Hao, and I come from ordinary families. In our first year of marriage, we were blessed with a son. When our son turned 3, I found out I was pregnant with our second child. Our firstborn, Shin, was a joyful and easy-to-care-for baby who always had a smile on his face. We hoped for a daughter with our second child, as the combination of a girl and a son in Chinese culture forms a positive word. Our wish came true when we welcomed our daughter, Fei. After her birth, we were determined to treat both children equally and avoid favoritism. However, my mother-in-law persisted in pressuring us to have a boy due to her traditional beliefs. My husband reassured me that times had changed. Upon Fei's birth, my mother-in-law's behavior changed. She started complaining about us having only a son, which led to my postnatal depression. Fei required constant attention, also escalated to my mother-in-law, to begin asserting that Fei was stealing attention from Shin. Eventually, I realized my fears were unfounded, as my mother-in-law did care for Fei, albeit different from Shin. Fei's outgoing and mischievous nature contrasted with Shin's more reserved personality, leading to more disagreements with my mother-in-law. One weekend, I woke up later than usual and noticed that my mother-in-law and Shin were home, but Fei was missing. I inquired, and she explained that Fei was playing at a neighbor's house. Something didn't sit right with me, so I went to fetch Fei. On our way home, I grew suspicious as the neighbor's son and his wife worked in the city and had no children. Yet there were toys in their yard. My concern deepened. I shared my worries with my husband that night. He brushed off my concerns, attributing them to stress. One day, I returned home with a box of cherries. I placed the cherries on the table. Upon my return, I found Shin and Fei fighting over the cherries. Jin claimed the cherries were meant for him and began acting spoiled. My mother-in-law intervened, scolding Fei and accusing her of selfishness. Jin, backed by his grandma, slapped Fei and called her money-loosing. I was shocked by his behavior and reprimanded him, making him apologize to Fei. My mother-in-law scolded me for intervening, claiming she was educating the kids, and added that everything belonged to Shin. However, my husband did not take sides. Shin's actions distressed me, as he had changed since Fei's birth. Before, I had been the primary caregiver for Shin, but after Fei's arrival, his time with his grandmother had increased. My husband attempted to console me, explaining that his mom's behavior stemmed from her love for Shin. I retorted angrily, questioning the logic of favoring son over daughter. I voiced my concerns for Fei and her feelings of being unprotected. The following day, with my mother-in-law absent, I sat down to watch cartoons with Fei. Shin wanted to join, so I pretended not to notice. Shin eventually apologized, promising to behave better. Later, I pointed to a character on TV and relate it to his behavior, leading Shin to ask Fei for forgiveness. He cried, and I seized the moment to address his actions. Shin admitted his mistake, acknowledging that he shouldn't have scolded and hit his sister. I understood that he imitated his grandmother's behavior and assured him he wasn't a bad child. Fei's actions and Shin's apology reassured me. Shin also promised to protect Fei from their grandma's scolding. My husband also vowed to support us more. One night, Shin's worried question about selling his sister prompted an important conversation. We assured him that such a thing would never happen, emphasizing our love for both children. This helped alleviate his fears, which had been fueled by his grandma's influence. Over the next few days, I monitored the surveillance camera at home while working, feeling assured when I saw Fei. However, on that day, almost 2 p.m., there was no sign of them. Suddenly, I received a notification from Fei's healthcare app indicating that she had undergone a full health screening. This puzzled me. A feeling of unease washed over me, and I abruptly left the office while trying to call my mother-in-law, who didn't answer. I hurriedly called my husband about my suspicions in a stuttering tone. He seemed to understand my worry and assured me he would rush home as well. On my way, I passed by the neighbor's house and noticed an increase in the number of toys in their yard. I sprinted home, almost out of breath. Upon entering, I saw the neighbor's family and Fei's belongings packed in bags. I quickly approached the neighbor and forcefully took Faye from their grip, demanding if they were involved in child trafficking. The neighbor then questioned my mother-in-law if she had informed us. She replied that Faye was a part of her family, so she had the right to make decisions. Enraged, I struck her. The neighbor got scared and asked for their money back. My mother-in-law refused, and a struggle ensued as she attempted to take Faye from me. Fortunately, my husband arrived just in time and joined me in protecting Faye. He forcefully retrieved the money from his mother's pocket and returned it to the neighbors. We threatened to report them to the police if they ever attempted to buy our daughter again. They quickly fled upon hearing this. I felt a sense of relief, knowing that I had acted swiftly. Otherwise, Faye might have been taken overseas. I threatened to involve the police, but my mother-in-law pleaded with her son not to. Despite his anger, given their relationship, he decided to give her a chance. My condition was for my mother-in-law to move back to the countryside and stay away from my child. She resisted, throwing tantrums and refusing to leave. Suddenly, my husband questioned his mother about the money she had received from selling Faye. He speculated whether it was meant to cover the shortfall for his brother's wedding dowry. This revelation stunned her. It turned out that his brother had approached him earlier to borrow money to bridge the gap in the funds raised by their mother. Throughout their lives, their mother had favored his brother, even threatening to sell him to support his upbringing. Now, she was willing to sell our daughter to contribute to his dowry. Tears welled in my husband's eyes as he confronted her. With no other choice, she reluctantly packed her belongings and left. After this tumultuous event, I applied for an extended leave and began searching for a nanny. I also informed the school that only the nanny, my husband and I, were authorized to pick up the kids. Once everything was in place, I returned to work. A brief period of peace followed. However, one day, Lin Yi, my brother-in-law, came to our house with gifts. As we allowed him inside, my mother-in-law, who had been hiding nearby, took the opportunity to enter as well. They approached us to borrow money for Lin Yi's dowry. While I didn't mind lending the money, I worried about Lin Yi's job instability and sense of entitlement. Eventually, their request escalated to a demand, prompting us to stand firm and ask them to leave. Despite this, days later, Jin went missing from school due to confusion with a substitute teacher. I reported it to the police, who initially dismissed it as unlikely. Soon, my mother-in-law called, and I put her on speakerphone so the police could hear the conversation. I agreed to provide her with the money she was demanding, and I asked her to bring Shin home. When my mother-in-law saw the police accompanying us, she was shocked and vehemently denied any wrongdoing, asserting that Shin was her grandson and not kidnapped. I also showed the police the surveillance footage of her attempting to sell our daughter to the neighbor. The evidence was clear, and she was found guilty. A few days later, Lin Yi appeared at our doorstep, leaving behind snacks for the kids along with a letter. In the letter, he apologized to us and told my husband that he is aware of their mother's favoritism towards him. He admitted that he had taken it for granted, which had contributed to shaping his current self. Lin Yi expressed his determination to begin working hard for his own future and to save money in the hope of marrying his girlfriend, provided she is still available when he returns. Despite these challenges, our family grew closer, prioritizing our children's well-being and safety above all else.